everybody, and welcome back to the KK Zone. As always, I am Kara Kaufman, and I am coming to you live from a day when baseball has returned. Yay! You can see I am wearing my baseball diamond as a heart shirt because I love it. Today is the day spring training games began. Yes, spring training games are not actual baseball. They count for nothing, and we see lots of replacements, lots of people shaking off the rust. But you know what? It's a real live baseball game, and it's being played, and so I count it as a hugely exciting milestone in our march towards baseball! Good times. I don't know if you can hear us in the background, but it is rainy and gross in New York City, so thankfully the Yankees are down in sunny Tampa. This is a live look at what's happening in Tampa. I am extremely jealous. However, I will take this rain in exchange for being able to watch the baseball game. Yes. So the Yankees played the Blue Jays today in George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, and they lost 4-6. Wompity womp. However, I don't care. It was baseball. I loved it. I loved every moment of this stupid, meaningless loss. Yes. Okay, I'm going to keep this brief because essentially it's a meaningless spring training game, but I am going to talk about it a little bit because it's baseball, and we haven't had actual baseball to talk about in months. So, for the Yankees, Michael King started the game today. He was on my list of potential fifth starter candidates, although I don't really think he's one of the favorites. He's certainly in the mix, and he also could theoretically be in the mix for a bullpen role, though my guess would be they want to keep him probably stretched out as a starter since that is what he brings to the table. He didn't have his best control in the first inning, it seemed like. Picked up a little bit in the second. Ultimately, you know, first time facing real opposing hitters in a while, so you just want to see that he gets through it healthy with some sharp stuff. The most interesting thing about Mike King today was his changeup, which we didn't really see a lot of in his previous short major league stints, but looked absolutely devastating today. There was some really good break on it. He got some great swings and misses, so overall, even though he got the loss, encouraging start for Mike King. Following that were, as you'd expect, a parade of relievers, and I'm going to reference my card because I have not memorized the box score from this one game. Got to get my brain into regular season shape. It's going to be a struggle. But we next saw Asher Wojciechowski, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong. We saw him with the Orioles briefly last year. He's a starter. He's a non-roster invitee to camp for the Yankees. I wouldn't really expect him to make the team unless several devastating injuries happen, but interesting depth piece to have around. The most notable thing about him today was if you look at him from like the side or back with his pinstripes on, with his hair, he's a Garrett Cole doppelganger. The face, totally different, but for a moment when they were just showing him as he warmed up from a different angle, I was very confused. So, excellent. We've got a Garrett Cole body double in camp in case he has to perform any stunts. We can have Wojciechowski step in and do those stunts for him. Very useful. Then we saw Kyle Barraclough, which he had some nice moments there. He looked like a couple of nasty breaking pitches he snapped off, but the coolest thing about him is that his name is basically pronounced Bear Claw. I mean, it's a great name for a pitcher. Bear Claw. It's like, yeah, downward slider. Just Bear Claw that guy. I love it. After that, we had, personal favorite, Adam Warren. Guys, I love Adam Warren. I loved him his first time with the Yankees. He got traded to the Cubs. And then he got traded back, and I loved him again. And then he had Tommy John surgery. So the Yankees have him back. He is recovered from Tommy John. This was the first look we've had at him. Don't know that he was super sharp, but it's Adam Warren, and I love him, and I'm always rooting for him. Go, Adam, go. After that, we saw Lucas Lipke, which I'm possibly also pronouncing wrong. He's an interesting guy. He actually looked really good. I totally did not have him on my radar. Probably still shouldn't. I don't think his odds of making the team are super high, but he looked probably one of the best of anyone today, stuff-wise. He got some batters out. That's the goal. And last, we had Nick Goody. Nick Goody, who has been with the Yankees on and off for a couple years now. Good old friend Nick Goody, the righty, looked like good old Nick Goody. That was the pitching rundown real quick. And then hitting-wise, Yankees only managed 5 hits. The good news is 3 of them were the Machine, DJ LeMahieu, who, if you had to guess who would have the first hit of spring training, and you guessed DJ, you'd be right, and it would be right on brand for Le Machine. Gleyber Torres absolutely smacked a double, which was super nice to see down the left field line. And Miguel Andujar, who I am really rooting for. I don't know where he's going to fit on this roster, but that guy was absolutely unstoppable in 2018, and I would love to see him have more of a shot again. Anywho, he had a hit today. That was nice to see. All the regulars got maybe 2 at-bats max, so not a lot to go on, but that was fun. Meanwhile, the remaining 2 hits were 2 back-to-back long bombs, and the best part about this was they happened while Luke Voigt was on live with the broadcast crew. So Luke was just chilled out in the dugout, his day being already done, just chatting about stuff, baseball, life, and these 2 back-to-back bombs happened, and it was really fun to watch Luke react to his teammates smoking the ball. The first one of them was Rob Brantley, who is a catcher who has some major league experience. I would expect probably he'll be one of the catchers in AAA this season. That would be my expectation. But he hit a 400-plus foot home run to dead center field, so that was cool for him. And then right after that, back-to-back, Mike Talkman, who is fighting for a roster spot. The Yankees like him a lot, but he really struggled last year. He hit a bomb to right field. He's a lefty. Hit down the power alley to right field, and it went a very long way. That one was absolutely clobbered. Good sign for Talkman. We can see he's taking this pretty seriously. He's really trying to earn his spot. The other day, the fun tip about him was he was doing a live batting practice against first Domingo Germán, and he had a pretty weak swing at something, and literally he walked away and broke the bat over his knee. That is fun, and not something you usually see in spring training. That's more of a high pressure at bat kind of move. But he clearly, for him, every at bat, he knows how important it is to really show that he's capable to make this roster. So that happened. Following that, too, he hit a batting practice homer off Garrett Cole, so he didn't have the worst day of all time. But today, he kept that up in a live game and hit that absolute bomb, so good for Talkman. And I think that is about all I have to say about today's game. It was really cool to hear the fans in the stadium. You could hear them chanting and cheering, and just delightful. And baseball, guys. Baseball is back! Okay, I'm gonna try and keep this a little quicker. The past couple videos have gotten rather long, and much as I know you would love to hear me talk absolutely all day, and I can oblige, believe you me, I'm gonna try and keep this one a little more succinct. Just to wrap up a couple of things that I thought were really fun this week in Yankees spring training baseball. So, the first thing I found fun this week is Luke Voigt winning the Style Award of the Week. That is an award created by me just now and awarded by me to Luke Voigt. That's as official as it gets. He was wearing, during one of his Zoom interviews, a t-shirt that said, "If you hear any noise, it's just me and the boys bopping." Pretty cool shirt in and of itself, and very applicable to the Yankees' heavily bopping lineup, but also a tribute to Dave Parker, who wore a similar shirt during his playing days. He was apparently a pretty badass guy. His nickname was Cobra, which is, how cool do you have to have your nickname be Cobra? Way cooler than I can ever imagine I will become, so yay. So Luke co-opted that and was wearing a neat t-shirt, which, first of all, looked great. Second of all, that's the kind of shirt that you wear because it makes you feel pumped. And it made me pumped to see it. I hope all the boys bop all year and we can just talk about that noise ad nauseum. Second fun thing. This one's a follow-up from a previous episode. For those who've been watching carefully, you remember that Gleyber Torres decided to play the prankster, pop out and jump scare Gio Urshela coming out of the dugout. Well, Gio wanted his revenge, and rightly so. You can't let yourself lose the battle of the scares. So, what does Gio do? Well, simple. The exact same thing. He hides next to the dugout steps, watches for when Gleyber is going to be coming out, and then he, just like Gleyber did to him, jumps out with a ha to scare him. Except, it wasn't just Gleyber coming out, it was also Tyler Wade. And Gleyber Torres, like any good prankster, clearly in the back of his mind was expecting this. So the reaction from Gleyber Torres was pretty much nothing, just kept right on walking. Tyler Wade, however, was scared out of his darn skin. He jumped, and as the guys kept walking towards the camera, Gleyber goes, "No," and Tyler goes, "You got me," which I find hilarious. So the question now is, does the chain continue? Does now Tyler Wade need to get his revenge on Gio? And will he accidentally, therefore, scare somebody else, basically making it so that eventually every single member of the Yankees owes somebody else a scare? I don't know. Storyline to watch as spring training goes on, and maybe even into the season. Who knows? It could be in October, and the scare chain could still be going. So, something to watch. One more fun thing from Yankees-specific universe this week, which was infield drills. That's not exciting, you say, and you're probably right, although at this point in the season it's still early enough and novel enough that watching guys field and throw balls is still really exciting. But even more than that, generally when the infielders are practicing their reception and throwing skills, they'll either throw to a guy at first, or if no one's at first, they'll kind of mime the throw but keep the ball in their hand. You know, doesn't make sense to throw balls all over the field, just gotta pick them up later. Kind of like me playing tennis, just constantly retrieving extra balls. But in this case, I saw something I had never seen before. The Yankees had a baseball player-shaped plywood cutout at first base. That's fun. And every time that the infielders collected and threw the ball, they were trying to hit the cutout with the balls, kind of like target practice. And it was really fun. They were cheering when they hit them, and they were booing when they missed. It was like a carnival game, but also an infield drill. Loved that. That was fun. Let's have more of those, please. And last thing I loved this week, and this one is not about the Yankees at all, but is about Ichiro Suzuki, who I think everybody can agree is one of the most delightful players I have personally ever watched. Forget all the amazing baseball skills. He is just, the man is baseball. He embodies baseball. That is, his entire being is made up of the entity of baseball. He's awesome. We love Ichiro. So Ichiro retired, and then he now works for the Mariners as one of those special assistant gigs that a lot of retired players seem to latch onto, which is really cool. It keeps them around the team, lets all the young, new players meet a living legend in the game and learn from them, soak up that knowledge. But Ichiro is not messing around with anything ever. And he likes to throw batting practice sometimes, which he wasn't a pitcher, but I believe Ichiro can do anything you want. But in order to make sure that he was throwing the best batting practice that he could possibly throw, Ichiro this offseason had a pitcher's mound built in his yard in Japan, and he practiced off that mound so that he could be the best batting practice pitcher that he could be. The guy really, the guy cannot not be the best, even at something like throwing batting practice, the goal of which, of course, is to actually let the hitters hit the ball. So Ichiro just continues to kill it, even in retirement. The guy is the best. Ichiro, we salute you. So that's going to do it today from the KK Zone. We're looking forward to a full slate of spring training games this coming week, including tomorrow we get our first look at Garrett Cole this spring, and our first look ever in pinstripes at Jameson Taillon. Super psyched for that. So I will leave you with this thought from James Rado and Jerome Ragney, the lyricists of Hair the Musical, which is this: let the sunshine in. First of all, a great life philosophy in general. Second of all, a literal thing in Tampa today with all that sunshine that we're missing down up here on the East Coast. And thirdly, just how I feel when baseball comes back. More sunshine in my life. So thank you for listening, and I will see you again next time. Until then, go Yanks.